Good morning.
Good morning.
I have an agenda.
You do?
But I think let's rock it.
We can wing it.
I think that's when the best splice clips happen, and I think that's what we need.
100%. So, and it's been a while since you and I have sat across from one another. You know, I guess this may be called season 2.
Let's
maybe?
call it season 2. It feels like season 2020, 1000 BC.
No, absolutely. But it's been, I can't remember the last time you and I sat in here.
Yeah.
Was it the last time that you said that you don't think that men punch people in the face enough anymore?
No, but that is, I still believe in that. I think that people live without consequences.
100%.
So there's a couple things I want to run with you, past you.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing I want to talk about is...
Ronald Reagan.
Read it out loud.
Trust but verify.
Trust but verify. When I was at your house this morning and I made this coffee, I knew that I had to bring it because this is one of the biggest topics that I'm seeing happen. I say this all the time. Now with AI.
I had to move so you couldn't hear me swallow my water. Were you like, what the hell is he doing? You're like, is this a new dance move?
Oh, that's a cool dodge. Trust but verify.
Mm-hmm.
I say it all day long with AI and everyone taking shortcuts and everyone also using it as some sort of self-therapist.
Mm-hmm.
I already felt like, and we've talked about in the past, that people are moving into this super narcissistic way of life. I really feel like after COVID, everyone's just kind of in their own world. And it's like we just have to accept their world and that's it. No one's really thinking about other people's feelings in business, in personal. And I feel like AI, although it has its perks, is kind of hitting this really weird place where people are just depending on that.
100%. You know, we were actually talking about that this weekend. Even with videos that are generated with AI, you can still tell that they're done. And one of the things that someone brought up this weekend was look at the eyes. The eyes are extremely telling. And that's where you can tell whether it's AI or not. So it made me go start fishing through Instagram and stuff like that and finding AI videos. And it's true. You can tell in the eyes.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild. Well, let's step back. For those of you who are not in the inner circle, this is someone that's very special to Bristol and I, Julia Navan, and I want you to introduce yourself. What do you do? Where are you from? Give me the skinny.
Perfect. So I'm from Long Island, New York, and I live in South Florida. I build brands. What does that mean? So from inception to growing it, that's what I do. So if it's anywhere from a logo, a brand kit, social, branding, I handle it all. You know, now marketing is so broad, but when it comes to really branding a person, branding a product is where myself and my team shine. We have a whole social division that handles any kind of content creation, but my superpower is in branding.
Yeah. And what's the difference in branding and just what most people consider branding via just social media? What's the difference between those two?
So I get really nervous when people throw the word around branding now because they don't know and they're depending on AI to generate them a logo and they're not thinking of the length of that logo. Actually, one of the most important and expensive mistakes I see companies make is not investing in someone who understands branding when they're starting their business or starting their personal brand. If you think that you could just hop on let me do that again. If you think you could just hop on, Canva or ChatGPT and build a brand, God bless you, it won't have legs. You have to have someone orchestrating behind the scene, thinking about your reputational risk, your financial risk throughout it all when you're putting any piece of content out.
Mm-hmm. And that's... I understand that. I didn't necessarily until you. I build shit, and it's definitely not necessarily brands or media or anything like that. So it's always better to be in the room with someone smarter than you in areas that you are not strong in. So I appreciate you. You know that, and it goes outside of that. What brought you to doing what you do? Did you just wake up one day and were like, I just want to handle brands and, grow businesses? What got you to where you are.
Literally. I think it's so important in your 20s to try everything. They call it your trying 20s, and they say that for a reason. You have to try work things. You have to try relationships. You have to fuck up. I tell everyone in their 20s, just fuck up. It's not that serious. That's like one of my famous quotes. It's not that serious, because you will have the energy to maneuver out of it. And for me, I thought I wanted to be a lawyer, started working in litigation finance, then did some consulting, then somehow segued into real estate, managing massive deals. And then I got the phone call from my old boss who sold the company. We started this legal consulting firm. I exited because I realized, wow, I love consulting, but I'm really good at branding and humanizing people. And I just started reading books and educating myself and mastering that trade. And then that's when I jumped off and started my own business. And things have now kind of come full circle where, you know, if you do good, good comes back. So now I'm, you know, doing a little bit more of that now, which has been super exciting. But I woke up one day and I thought to myself, in every company that I've ever seen, the company always has a higher evaluation if there's an owner, CEO present, because people buy from people. People don't buy from businesses. So any business owner that does not have a personal brand, if I look up your business and I don't know who owns it in 3 seconds, come on.
That's a problem.
That's a problem.
Well, and that's one of the things that we've gotten away from is relationships. And I think a good way to do branding is to create that relationship. Even if you personally don't know that individual, that energy needs to be spent allowing other people to know that person so that they feel like they know someone, right? To your point, you know, people buy from people, not businesses. I'm very much that way. It's relationship based. Sometimes there's deals that you're going to hit, you know, a grand slam, and others where you're going to get a single, right? But relationally, you can share that information, and you can help support one another in business endeavors through relationship. So I really don't like dealing with investors or individuals that I don't have a relationship with, because, you know, a lot of people say, in which I can do to a certain extent, of separating business and personal, but there's also an overlap in a lot of areas. And those are the things that I think is lost in business today due to having phones in hands, computers in front of you, things like that.
Totally. I really think it's a lost art form, how you run your business and how I run my business. It's almost incestuous, and I like it that way. I will do anything for my clients, and you will do anything for your, you know, clients, investors, etc. Like, you'll go to the ends of the earth. And I think that that's super important, because that's the kind of person you are. You're not a transactional person. I'm not a transactional person. So people that want to show up in business just being transactional, it does not work. Energetically, it just doesn't. And it will always implode. And I find now more than ever, and I thank God for this, if someone tries to come at me just for something transactional that's not in my best interest, if they want to undercut my prices, or if they just want to use me for free information, which I'm always more than happy to give, but if it's with like a sinister kind of energy, they get removed from my life immediately. And I really believe that whether it's a bad investor for you or anything like that, when you're so divinely protected and you have the kind of support that you and I both have in our lives, anyone transactional doesn't work. Exactly.
Being a young business owner, and even being a female young business owner, what are some of the struggles that you have found starting a business?
None. How dare you? No, I'm kidding. I said that I felt uncomfortable with the woman pilot last night.
Yes.
I was joking.
What happened? What did you jokingly, we were going back and forth.
And you were like, Julia, come on. But I was just thinking of the curb I hit that morning. So it was totally a me thing. So I really had no struggles. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm so delusional that even before I had a name of my business, you signed up with me. And then I closed another huge client, like within 3 days of me, parting. And that was massive. And I just rode that ride of delusion. I think the one thing as a woman business owner, a young woman business owner, is boundaries has been super hard, and burnout. Burnout is real. I literally had a mini stroke like because of burnout, emotional, physical, mental. When you're doing everything, you know, we always want to say as women, like, oh, we could do everything, and we can, but it's super important that you refill your cup, because as women, we just want to give and nurture and do, and you will hit a wall. And I think relationships, I think it's really hard sometimes when you're such a girl at home, but you're such a boss in the office, that when you have that level of dichotomy, it causes friction. Because you could be a girl at home with your man and he doesn't think anything above it, you know, about it. He's just happy. And then you're like, oh, wait, but I have to go on this business trip. And no, I can't go to that with you because I have this call, or I da-da-da-da-da. And they're like, wait, what? So that's been a little bit difficult. But overall, I'd say it's a pretty easy ride, especially with the right mentors.
Yeah. And with that said, too, certain people have energies and things that I believe are innate and cannot be trained. That's definitely something you have, to where you can walk into a room and demand the focus, not even necessarily because you come in and you're yelling and screaming or anything, but your personality, and people are attracted to that. And it's, you know, a magnetic personality. In knowing that, and you know that you have that.
Totally.
You know,
yeah.
You can talk to anybody. You know, you would be anybody's best wingman, right? You try to be Chase's wingman, and Chase is our youngest son, and Julia's on several occasions tried to be his wingman. But that energy is something that you can't teach. Are you finding in the younger generation that people have that? Or do they not? And where does that come from?
So I really think you're born with it, because I've always had it. It's not a trait that I've built. I've, you know, had people ask me, what seminars have I taken? Who does my, you know, professional coaching? Who this, who that? And the best way I could explain the way that I show up was, one day I was walking in a mall in Miami, and some lady came up to me, and she was some kind of energy healer reader lady. And you're already kind of like, oh, this is a scam. And she goes like this to me. And I go, what? And she goes, your energy field is like a peacock. She goes, it's massive and it has beautiful, beautiful colors. She goes, there's other birds like a blue jay and a robin and a this and a that. They still have beautiful feathers, but they're just smaller. She's like, take your gift and make sure you do good with it. Mm-hmm. So I really feel, and that's all she wasn't trying to sell me anything. She was just trying to make me aware of how big, I guess, my energetic field was. And again, I was just walking in the mall by myself. I find with the younger generation, though, what they don't do is they're waiting for someone to tell them who they need to be. Mm. I'm just me. I don't know how to not be just me. And I think with that grows your energy, because when you know who you are, you attract the people that are supposed to be in your life. When you don't know who you are, you end up attracting a whole bunch of different things. It's like if you get in your car and you don't know where you're going, you're going to end up nowhere. If you get in your car and you're comfortable and you have the directions plugged in, you're going to end up exactly at your destination and probably early.
No, that's great. That's great. And it's so true. And, you know, having 3 boys, those are the type of things that we like to instill in them, you know. And I remember when I was a kid, I didn't listen to my parents. You know, I was in my 20s before I actually went, well, maybe they aren't assholes. Maybe they were right. Maybe I should have listened, right? But that's an egotistical male testosterone filled teenager, right? Another question, those young adults, teenagers, kids, as I still look at them, what advice would you give someone that wants to start a business and may not even necessarily know what field they want to be in? And I'm actually getting to someone in particular. What advice would you give someone young like that?
Buckle up, buddy. It is fucking hard.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be ready to sacrifice. You have to be ready to do anything. You have to be ready. It's like having a kid. Like, I understand it. You know, my sister who has 3 kids, she's like, oh, you just have a business. You don't understand. And I'm like, I think I kind of do, because like it never sleeps. It needs to be 24/7. Buckle up, because there's a lot you're going to have to figure out. And the second you think you figured it out, something's going to hit you over the head with a 2x4. So what I would tell any young person that wants to start a business or be in business, really make sure that you have enough framework that you'll remain sane, because you will just go for it. Absolutely, just crush it, go for it, but just have your own framework that you will remain sane.
Yeah, no, that's
right. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you have to have that foundational belief and strategy and everything else. And a lot of times it doesn't. There's individuals that have that energy, have that aura, that it doesn't matter what they sell. If you would, pretty much in any business, you're going to have a product, whether that product is your time, your energy, whether it's a widget that you sell on TikTok, whatever it is, you have a product. And when that product is based around you and not something that's tangible, that can be an energy suck.
Totally. Everyone wants me, like in my personal life and my professional life. I think I've come up with really good solutions around that, but God, is it hard?
Yeah, no, and it's drawing the line. Bristol and I often talk, she came from 20 plus years in corporate HR, and she was of the mindset that you had to have almost a perfect secular round life with balance. And then once I convinced her to leave, and she had gotten her license and started being more involved in the building industry, she understood that was unattainable. You have to focus in different time periods, more energy in one area than another. But if you also enjoy what you do, it's not necessarily working. Clients can be a pain in the ass, investors can be a pain in the ass, but there's also so many good things that come with that. And with that said, if you had to describe the perfect client, what would that look like?
You.
Oh.
No. I'm like, you're doing a really good job right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like Barbara Walters.
Oh.
Who's like a guy, Barbara Walters?
I don't know.
Lester Holt? No, he's
yeah,
Dateline.
Something like that. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Perfect client. I think someone who is really passionate about what they do. Everything else is bullshit. Like, I could bust out a brand kit, film you, chop it up, put it on social, build you out a site, maximize your presence online. Mm-hmm. But unless you really love what you do and you're passionate about what you do, I could care less. Mm-hmm. If it's just for likes, I could care less. Mm-hmm. But if you want to make an impact and you have a message and a voice that you need to get out there, that's my dream client. Mm-hmm. Someone that wants to make the world better. I have a no asshole policy. So if you're an asshole and you just, want to make a bunch of money, or you just want to, have it for shits and gigs, I'm totally not interested. Yeah,
life's too short for that.
It doesn't matter. None of this matters, right? Like, you have to get, and it goes back to what I said initially. Like, if you are in your own energy and you are yourself, the right people will come. So what social media has done, and making all these connections online has done, is it will get you to the right people a little bit quicker. So with that, I would definitely say number one.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. It's the experience is the biggest part of any type of relationship, right? And any relationship takes work. Nothing's ever going to be rosy all the time. And it's one of the sayings that I always utilize is it's never the problem, it's always the solution. And even with individuals that we work with, site supervisors, what have you, it's don't come to me with a problem without at least a couple avenues to be able to solve that problem.
Yeah.
Because that's huge. I think especially in younger individuals, is being able to empower them to understand that they can help make decisions, because they'll learn better that way. And to your point earlier, fail, right?
Fail. Fuck it up. It is fine to fuck up.
Because that's the only way you're going to learn. If someone tells you the correct way to do something, you may do it. But if you do it wrong and you fuck it up, you'll always remember that, right?
So this is a perfect example. So I'm the type B friend. My best friend Caroline is the type A friend. She's at my house. I decide I want to make this piece of art for over my bar. So she's like, okay. So we are on her way to Michael's, and she's literally typing out a list of supplies that we like need to get on her phone. I'm like, let's just like be in flow, and like when we get there, we'll figure it out. And we get there, we get all the stuff, we get home, and it's this massive canvas, and she's like, taking the paint and she's painting it, and all of a sudden I just pour the paint on, and I just take my hands and I just start going like this. She's like, Noodle, what are you doing? And I look up at her and I go, it's not that serious. And she called me yesterday. She was doing some kind of DIY art project, and she goes, you'd be so proud of me. I go, what? And I'm thinking a million other things I'd be proud of her for doing. And she goes, I didn't measure, and I used an X-Acto knife because it's not that serious. And I started dying laughing. But again, if I went on her path and I thought about it and thought about it and I thought about it, I would have never had the piece done. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people have amazing ideas and they're just not ready to get it done because it's not that serious. Mm-hmm. I know someone in your life who comes up with brilliant ideas
and does not execute them.
No execution.
Yeah.
Nothing pisses me off more.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing rattles my bones more, because in life, if you're not going to do it, it's only you.
Yep.
You can't expect other people to do shit for you. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. That's crazy.
No, absolutely. And the more you try, the more you will actually succeed, because you'll learn from those failures. And when you try to do something new again, you will stay away from some of those things that made you fail. And that's one of the biggest educations you can have, is failure. So with that said, what is one of the biggest, what would be considered a failure that was actually a lesson that happened to you that is kind of like pivotal to your business life? You didn't know I was going to come at you like this, did you?
No, but I love it. I think one of the biggest failures, but like, again, spinning it to positive because nothing's ever a failure, is keeping the wrong people in my life for too long. Mm-hmm. That 100% is, if I were to, I'd have zero regrets, but keeping the wrong people in, my seats, close to me, has been the biggest failure that I have had, where like it kind of just turns. One was a personal, romantic relationship, one was a work relationship, that I just energetically fed into, because I'm not a people pleaser, but I want to make people happy. Mm-hmm. And I want to make sure everyone feels cared for. And by doing that, it just sucked the life out of me. And I think that in life, you have to assess those people quick and get rid of them, instead of trying to fix it or try to fix it or try to understand it. If someone is going to take and not give, and if you're also not doing the audit of what that energetic exchange is, you will fail.
Because you get trapped in it.
You get trapped and you make excuses, and it literally rewires your nervous system. Mm-hmm. If you're used to someone being negative to you every single day, you're going to accept that as part of the daily routine. And what is now your truth? Somewhat, right? If someone's constantly badgering you about something, you're going to start to believe that that's the truth. Yeah. And then you have moments where you watch other people have similar interactions with them, and you're like, wait, I'm not crazy. Mm-hmm. Because it becomes your truth. Mm-hmm. So I think when someone comes into your life, it will really throw you off course if you mm-hmm. don't have that boundary, and you have to go through it to learn it. Like, there's been so many things since starting my business that I didn't understand why I couldn't cut things off, or wasn't even that I was afraid, and it wasn't even that I wasn't ready. Mm-hmm. It's just like you can't. And I think that we have soul contracts with people that we have to fulfill to push forward and to learn it, like really, really concrete learning.
Now define that soul contract. What do you mean by that?
So I'm witchy, haha.
Yeah.
And I think that nothing's by happenstance. Whatever's mm-hmm. for you is going to be for you, good or bad. It's going to teach you something. It's all predestined. Like, what are the chances that, like, I met you, we mm-hmm. didn't have a reservation that night, I wasn't supposed to be in Miami, why mm-hmm. the fuck were you in Miami? Like, it's all these things. And I think that everything's predestined. And if you look at anyone's life, it's like, oh my God, like, if they weren't there that one day, and if they weren't this and they weren't that, like none of this would have happened. So I think that with that comes soul contracts, and it's supposed to teach us. I think we come into this life knowing exactly what we're supposed to do, and God gives us those gifts and puts the people in place to rip those gifts out of us to do better with. I mean, all my failures have ultimately brought me into being a better person, not a bitter person. And I think that's really important when you go through life and you go through ups and downs. It's so important to become better and not bitter. I always rise above, and it works out for me.
Yeah, and that's tough in the moment, understanding that, right? Because when you're in the thick of something, you would not see the other side. So with those failures and successes, I think personally, someone had asked me what's my definition of success. And one of my definitions of success is being able to be in a place where you can share yourself and help others succeed. Because personally, there's nothing that I enjoy more than seeing others succeed. That brings me joy. I wasn't always like that though. Again, egotistical, testosterone driven. I'm in an industry of home building and construction that's, aggressive by nature, right? So I could care less if anybody else succeeded, but it started bringing me joy later in life. And Bristol is probably a big portion of that helped me realize that that's okay. What's one of the ways that you define success?
That's a hard question, because I don't think I've quite figured that out yet, because I just don't think I'm in that part of my life yet. I'm in like hustle mode.
Well, even with short wins, if you have short wins and those have become successful, is there a definition or a lesson that you've learned to achieve that goal even?
I think just when karma comes back around, I would say, like in moments that you rise to be the bigger person, and again, you become better, not bitter. And then the next thing you know, it all kind of makes sense why someone wasn't nice or whatever, something didn't work out. I would say that's success to me. Like that right now is the most pinnacle thing that I've seen recently. I just had a really strange call, and then that call made me feel so bad, and then I called someone else, and then that turned into one of the best calls. And if that bad call didn't happen, then the good call wouldn't have happened. So I think that success to me is just always doing the right thing, because the right thing and the right people will come back around to you.
In business, where you currently are now, you've got a diversity of clients. Where do you see yourself in the next couple years? And are there any breakthroughs or things that you would like to achieve to bring to your clients in the current business that you do? How are you looking to expand your business, and what other things would you like to do outside of what you do now in your current business?
So expanding my business, we kind of have a roadmap for that, which is going to be pretty exciting for everyone to see what's about to happen in the next couple of weeks. But expanding my business, working with consumer product companies, I love. Like, I love that. I love connecting people to capital, like who could infuse capital into a business. That I love, because again, it's such a sacred exchange, and it always has to come from the right intention. And like, I just know that I have my vibe check meter is so crazy that I'm really good at that. But I would say that definitely with consumer products, it's something that I never thought about, because I always did personal brands, and now doing, consumer product branding, that has been a challenge. Not that it's challenging, but it's just so different, and it's so exciting.
Yeah, because every brand or every product has to be marketed different. There's no recipe for it.
There's no recipe for it, and you can't ask it questions. It is what it is. So how many times can you push out a piece of content for one thing?
Yeah.
Like, you have to get pretty creative.
Absolutely.
And you can't depend on the talent. You have to be the talent to get that thing to move. And that has been, right? You never thought about that.
No, 100%. No,
it's
when you say
crazy.
It that way.
Yeah. Like, it's
You have to present it in a way that the product can stand for itself.
precisely. And how many times? And if you're looking at, 60 times a month minimum, you have to make 60 pieces of content minimum a month.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
That's a lot of creativity.
It's just a lot, to show the same thing over and over and over again.
So knowing where you are now, something that everybody's always told me that I need to do. I've never done it. I may do it at some point. Do you actually have a vision board?
So what's so crazy is that's one of the things that I have on my list to do again. I made vision boards, God, years and years and years ago. My mom kept them. I have 2 vision boards. I had a professor in college that made us make a vision board. Isn't that crazy?
Really?
I had a professor in college. Dr. J was her name. I'll tag her in this.
Yeah.
And she changed my life because it was a really hard class, and our final, imagine this, it was a super hard class. I'm in college, and our final was to watch The Secret and make a vision board. What? And I was like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
And then I, turned it on, and it kind of has the cool intro, and then you learn about frequency and energy. And I was like, oh my God, I feel so understood.
Yeah.
And then I made my vision board, and I made probably 3 in my life. I haven't in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
But I need to. And I believe in them. And I believe if you set an intention, you will get it. And I also believe if you want something, it's yours.
Yes.
Like if you want, a certain car or a certain house, like you will get it. Like I know that you're going to get a house in Italy because like, why would you want it? Why would you want it if it isn't for you?
Yep. Absolutely.
Like, so when people say things to me, I'm like, oh yeah, we just got to figure out how we're going to get you that, because if you want it, it's already yours.
Yeah. Let's go into that. Let's talk about frequencies, your witchiness, because there's others with that as well. And I think that it's something that you have to be open to. And some people are more open to it than others. And I think it's something that we're trained not to look at.
Yeah. My depth of soul is so scary for people, because I'll just like be able to human x-ray someone, and I think it freaks people out.
Yeah.
But it also, for like my clients and people close to me, I'm a secret weapon.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times have I called bullshit on stuff and you're like,
Yeah.
and then it literally happens exact. Bristol has it too. It's a fact that not a lot of people know about me, that I'm clairvoyant. It was kind of embarrassing. I was on a date and I had like 2 glasses of wine and I barely drink anymore, and I got like a little toasty, and I was like, did your dad pass away, and did he smoke cigarettes? And the guy like freaked out, and it was so embarrassing. I was so embarrassed, but it just like came out of my mouth.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of things. That's something that no one really knows about me, is that a lot of times people that have had someone pass, or have kind of turbulent energy, are attracted to me because I'm able to kind of
to touch
connect.
that.
Yeah.
Well, and is that something you've had kind of all your life as a kid? Is it something you were just introduced to all your life? Was that scary for you?
So as a kid, no. Like the first time that we knew about it was I was born dead on arrival, and I was revived. And I was like 3, and I explained to my dad like that I knew his grandma and all the names in heaven. And my dad's very much like a 1 + 1 = 2 kind of guy. So he was freaked the fuck out. And next thing you know, people used to come up to my mom and dad when I was little and be like, oh, she's gifted. And I was just like, what does that mean? Yeah. I'm like, aha. And it's evolved. It only scared me a couple times. I went to a funeral when I was in high school, and that was the first time as like a young adult that it happened, where I was able to understand it, and it scared the shit out of me, because he was like, haha, I'm not done with you next. Like, you're next, Yeah. And I was like, what? And I thought I was going to die. So throughout high school, I was like, oh, if he's not done with me and I'm next, that means I'm going to die. And then I ended up dating someone that was very close to him. And then, something happened when I was dating that guy, that the funeral that I was at, that guy kind of came back around, and he was saying things to me, and I literally opened the car door and I threw up because I was so scared, because it was so real and it scared the shit out of me. And I think that people that don't believe in it until they have an experience like that, or until they have someone that could kind of channel someone through them, they don't believe it. I don't even believe it sometimes. I'm like, do I sound crazy? I don't sound crazy. And I feel it coming on. It's like the Long Island medium. Yeah. And it scares the shit out of me. It does. It scares me. But in business, it's been fantastic.
Yeah. You got to use it as a weapon, like you said.
Yeah. It's really good in business because I could tell if someone's bullshit or not in 3.2 seconds. I could tell what someone's vice is. That's like the best. It's the best one. My gaydar is amazing. Yeah. You know, all of the things. all of the things.
Yeah. No, and that's something that I think, you know, I'm a firm believer in. You know, we've had numerous discussions about this type of stuff, but you know, I'm a firm believer in energies and things of that nature, frequencies, and especially that people that have passed are still around you. And there's just different ways that they come to you. Just a lot of times we're not receptive to that, or don't know how to be receptive to that, and just overlook some of the things.
We're all capable. Like I really think we're all capable. I think that there's like certain things that happen in our lives that allow us for that veil to be a little bit thinner. But I think that meditation's massive. I haven't gotten into meditation yet, but what was actually so crazy was when I was in Nashville, right before I literally have this life-altering medical emergency, was I just had my own agenda. I kept just going to places by myself. And it was so weird because 3 people told me that I should learn how to meditate.
Really?
And I wasn't stressed out. I was having a great time. And it was weird, you know? And I looked back at that, and it was like within a 2-day span, when 3 people tell you the same exact thing, you have to like wonder why. And what was crazy was when I was in Nashville and I was getting my MRI, I was like, damn, I wish I learned how to meditate. Like, I wish I got this advice sooner. But I think that meditation is going to be our new currency. I think now with everything that's going on, if you don't know how to clock out, you're always going to be clocked in, and you're going to end up like me with a massive medical bill.
Yeah, no, and it's insane. I can't do it. The silence in my head is deafening at times. So I've got to have something going on in the background that eases my brain and allows me to concentrate if I have that noise, because silence is deafening.
So that's how I am, but I'm learning, and it's been hard. I'm doing baby steps into this meditation thing, like no phone at like in the bed, basically after like 10 p.m. like book only. I'm scrolling. I'm sending you TikToks up until 10. I know. But no phone. I try in the morning, like wake up, don't touch my phone, just do breath work. I think like breathing, what I noticed with like this medical thing that I had, breathing is the most important medicine that our body could have. And it's all these things that you hear people say. There's a reason Tony Robbins makes you like get up and jump around. It's like literally to move your chi, to move your energy, to get your breath right. You know, there's
truth behind
There's truth behind all of it. And if you look at anyone who's super famous, and one of the guys in Nashville that told me, he recommended a book to me, and it was about all of these different CEOs that they said that they were as successful as they were due to meditation. It's like all excerpts.
Yep. And meditation and fitness.
Totally.
These kind of loop all into the same thing. Most successful people are typically healthy, have some sort of training program, eat well. It doesn't mean that you don't go off the rails sometime, right? It's that whole
where are we going after this?
Yeah, exactly. It's a whole 80-20 deal, right? You've got to enjoy life, but you know, the thing that makes individuals special, especially as entrepreneurs, is themselves. And if you don't take care of yourself in different means, mentally, physically, with nutrition and understanding about frequencies and how your actual body works, you will not be as successful as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, no, I think for sure. And I think that you also have to, as an entrepreneur, with your frequency, keeping it high is super important. You have to. On the days that I feel low, everyone feels low.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's because you have that energy that exudes. And with that, in understanding and feeling that type of energy, it's very easy to feel negative energy from others once you realize that energy is put off from individuals, and you can place that burden on yourself, right? And one of the things that you said earlier was you started 86ing people in your life that were negative, because I would believe that emotional stress and weight is something that you end up carrying if you don't.
My God, you have no idea. Like, I noticed through my medical emergency, like literally having a mini stroke, being stranded in a different state, not knowing my name, not knowing this, not knowing that, and only, within seconds, everything changed. And life is not promised. Everything is fleeting. Life could change it, in a New York minute. And you have to be grateful to that. And you also have to be prepared. But what it taught me was I'm done with that. And I'm not willing to risk my health. I think that needed to happen. And then the ripple effect that I've had to deal with after that has made me concrete in my soul that, like, even if someone tries to fuck with me or come at me, I'm like, I can't even, like, if you're going to disturb my peace, it's going to disturb my health.
Yes.
And I think someone, like, God will whisper, then he'll talk, then he'll yell, then he'll hit you over the head with a shovel. Once you get that shovel, you're done. Like, you will just listen to God.
Yeah.
There's no way that you can't. Because you know what the repercussion is going to be. And I think until you get the shovel, you're like, oh, you put up with it. No. But that, it goes back, though, to, again, where everything's kind of real and fake, and that everything looks like it's easy. Kim Kardashian, who I don't idolize at all, but she just posted a video of her, like, sobbing on her Instagram, being like, because she failed the bar, but it was like her training for the bar. And she's like, every single time I get one step ahead with this, I get fucking pushed back. Welcome to the real world. Anyone who's successful has that. And she never shows those moments. And she's actually had to fight a lot of adversity over the length of her career, from how she started to now being a billionaire. Like, she's had those ups and downs and ups and downs. And what someone doesn't realize about me was, I'm running this business, I'm maintaining this business. I went through a massive, massive, horrific breakup, moved out of a home that I thought that we were gonna live in forever, had one of my best friends kill themselves, like, lost 3 clients. It was like 2 more things that I can't even, like, it's like blocked out. It was too much stress for literally anyone to handle. Like, one of those things could send someone off the rails. I had all of them happen within a month and a half. And I think that, God will test you. And you have to be ready. You have to be ready. And there's certain things that even if you are ready, there's things that you're not ready. There's no way for you to be ready for. And I think that when that happens, everything looks perfect on social media, and everything looks perfect when you own a business, and everyone always celebrates me for my wins. But no one knows, because I don't share it, how harder they would probably clap if they knew, and just like you, if they knew how much you had to fight to keep shit going when you're down.
Yeah. And that is what becomes a testament to the people that you pick that are around you. If you have the proper people in your life when those things are going on, you also understand that that's a support system that is huge, is strong, that's not going to go away.
Totally.
Everybody needs people in their lives that they know that they could depend on at any given point. Brad and I always talk about being that 3 a.m. friend, right? That if something happens at 3 a.m., you could pick up the phone, call someone, and whether it's a drive away or you have to fly somewhere, that person will do and drop everything that they have to go help you.
Totally.
Those are the type of people that everybody needs in their lives, and they're so important. So when you have individuals like that, you hold on to them and you cherish them.
Totally.
So again, as a business owner, we know that there's failures, there's successes. Sometimes we get into businesses and we're like, I wish I would have never done that business or never had that client or what have you. Knowing what you know now, what do you think you would change in your journey from when you started as a business owner to today?
Hire slow, fire fast. I've wasted so much money on the wrong talent, being nice.
And it's hard when people depend on you, right? And you feel, I am responsible for this person, right? Because that changes once you're a business owner. People depend on you to help support them emotionally, financially, and things like that. And a lot of times you can't look past that until you make the decision to let them go.
Totally. That is number one, one of the biggest thing. The second thing, there's a podcast I started listening to called Founders, and I listened to it, and it was with Michael Dell, and he said something that I was like, pow. The most gut-wrenching thing for an entrepreneur is knowing that they need to change their business to stay in business. And I was like, oh my God, it's so true. You will be presented, if you're a business owner, with moments, maybe the competition's doing better and they're, using new technology, or they're doing it a little bit better than you, or, maybe you have the wrong team, or maybe you have the wrong business plan, or maybe you haven't updated your operations and now AI's come in and you do it, whatever it might be. It's gut-wrenching. It is total gut-wrenching shit when you realize, I got to get back to the drawing board. And not that you just need to get back to the drawing board because you need to, because things are going okay. But you see down the road, and if you're a good business owner, you see down the road and you see what's about to change, and you have to change it before the competition puts you out of business.
It's evolution, and it's being smart enough and having an open mind to be able to accept those things, right? Change sometimes is never easy, but the process a lot of times can be tough, but in the end, it can be fun as well and rewarding. And back to your point of hiring the right people for the right positions and holding on too long, if you go back and you would have followed your witchiness, do you think you would be at a different spot today than you were when you were holding on to those individuals or those things that you felt that you had to control?
Yes and no. I think everything has the time frame to take its course, but I think I would have saved a lot of money. And I think I would have had negative people out of my life sooner that weren't actually cheering for me. I think that it's so important that you have your cheerleaders and you have your people that want to see you win. And I don't know. I think that human nature is really weird. And something that I've never quite understood was I could be at my lowest and I'm still cheerleading. I've never been like, fuck her, she's doing good. I swear on my life, I swear on my nieces, I've never had that feeling. It's not innate in me, One of my girlfriends, Alicia, she's building this insane company right now. And she, texted me the other day, she's like, you are the only person that has consistently supported me.
Wow.
And I was like, really? You know what I mean?
Well,
and I was like, I was shocked by that. But you want to know what? At the same time, I wasn't, because I am that person. You're that person.
Yeah.
I want to see everyone win. What the fuck?
Yeah.
And I think when you have people in your life, especially that work for you, and they want to bring their bullshit into your business, that's when things get real sticky, when they can't be the bigger person for the higher good.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're going to wrap this up from the business side. Ooh. We'll take a little break, and then we're going to get into personal stuff. We're going to talk about dating. Again, you and I have had some fun conversations about, dating in Miami and Florida and things of that nature, and how guys have no game these days and all that. I'm so excited for this. So thank you very much. I always enjoy sitting across the table from you.